Hi everybody, I just did a video of me painting this without switching the video on, so hello, welcome back. I've drawn a leaf. I'm just going to show you wet into wet washes. So I'm putting water down in my little shape that I've drawn. This is not a full botanical portrait, it's just to show you how your paints can be used. So because this paper is now wet and my paint is wet, this is going to be a wet into wet wash. All right. So looking at this leaf, it's not a solid green. There's lovely tints of yellow and bits of brown and lovely veins and everything else. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get, remember we had three paints. We had a yellow, just mix up more because I used it all. We had a yellow, we had a blue and a red. Well, I'm just taking some of the yellow, my brush, and I'm going to fill this space. See how it's moving nicely because the paper's wet? Watercolour loves water. See where it's not moving there? God, the light's drying it too quickly, so I'm just adding a bit of clean water over this again to make it wet again. There you go. There you are. Now, I'm going to take some of my blue and mix it with my yellow. And blue and yellow makes green. I'm going to go around the outside. Watch this move in. Isn't that nice? Now, this petal has got little serrated edges on it. So I'll kind of rough it up a bit. There you go. To create the edges. And goes to a little point and comes down more roughy edges. I'm just using it on the tip of my brush. It'll move in happily. Pointy edges again. So you've got wet and wet. You've got wet green, wet yellow on wet paper. So they're just merging. I'm going to encourage it to come in a little bit because there's more green in this area here than we have there. I'm just going to put a little touch more green in. There you go. Darken that area. And allow this to move. So this will be a lively leaf. Instead of a flat, just plain green, you've got the yellow underneath. I can come in my cleaning brush and spread it around a bit if I want. Now, your red and your yellow mixed together will make like an orange. So at this stage, you need a smaller brush, smaller one. I'm going to take that, wet it a little bit, mix it in with the red and the yellow. More yellow than red. And I'm going to come back in and I'm going to touch the end of this and it'll all merge and make a lovely dirty rusty colour. There you go. See this bit here? I'm not doing it in a continuous straight line because it would be boring. I'm breaking it, kind of dotting it around the place. Don't worry, this will all dry in looking like a leaf. There's little browny, reddy drops all around the place because it is autumn and this leaf is beginning to turn. Well, it was on the floor, so it definitely turned. There you are. Nothing dramatic. This is just a bit of water moving with paint pigment. Makes this. There you go. I better stop now. This is called fiddling. Now, it has a stalk, and the stalk is a yellowy green. So I'll just bring the stalk. See how his stalk's one that way? Just join it off the edge and bring it back. We'll give him a long one. There you go. Into the middle. I said it's not a portrait. It's just getting to used to playing with your washes. Okay. Now, it's all shiny. See that real? Can you see the shine on the paper? I don't know if you can see it under the light. See the shine? Well, that shine, can you see? That shine means it's soaking wet. So we don't want to touch it now for a minute till it dries. You've got to let your watercolour dry for your fiddle. Otherwise, if I come in now to create a vein with a bit of green paint, it'll just spread out. Remember what we did with the blue paint and we dispersed it down with the water? Well, with this, it'll do the same. So if you put the green on, it will actually just disperse straight out. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to wet this little fellow and just do it again for you. And I'll use a decent sized brush. I'm not going to go like a chicken scratching with that brush. Yeah, little drawing, nothing too dramatic. So I've wet underneath to create an area for the watercolour to flow. My yellow's dirty now with the red, so let me get some fresh yellow. Touch a bit of yellow paint into it. Not all the way around to the edges, let it just flow out because we're going to make an interesting petal or leaf. Then you come in with your green, which is just your blue and yellow mixed. Go around the outside with it. Pull it out to a point. Use the point of your brush. This is where you get to play. This one's very wet. Amazing. The way the watercolour just moves around. Now, I have a puddle of water in here, so I can just dry my brush slightly and pull a lot of it out. Did you see that? It's like a vacuum cleaner. If there's too much paint, I just lift it out again. And this one looks all wishy-washy compared to this, so I need more blue than with my yellow. I want to go around the edge of this to give it a bit more depth. That's better. Diluted down too much. There you go. And then I'll switch to my thinner brush because otherwise I'll make an absolute hens of it. And we follow the stalk. This had the red on it. Oh, that's a little gift. There you go. Now, there you go. There's 3 little petals. Pick any 3 of these. I wasn't going to do them all because this video would be so long you'd all be bored. So that's those 3. When that dries, we can create shadows underneath and make them look like they're bouncing off the page. With this now, I'll take some of the green I've just mixed up for that, and I'll go down the middle. This might be drying a little bit. It doesn't look like it's, no, it's not drying. Of course it's not. It's not going to go anywhere. And it has little lines coming off. I don't want to make it look too overworked. Now we have a joy here. Because of my mess up with the video, this one is bone dry nearly. Well, you can see it's still swollen on the paper. There's still a bit of dampness in there. I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to mix it with some of my red. I'm going to create, actually I'm going to put a touch of the green into it to create a kind of weird shadow colour. Okay. To make this hop off the page, we're going to create a shadow. Like if that's sitting like that. See the little shadows around the edge to make it look like it's tilted? I could actually create a shadow down here to make this side look like it's sitting down. And there's a stalk coming across like that. So look at that stalk. It's going to there. There's a little bit of shadow under the edge. Don't be afraid to touch it. It's not going anywhere once it's dry. You can work away. A little bit of shadow there. There's a little bit of shadow here. There's a tiny touch there. So anywhere where you see shadow, just put it in. It'll all work to make it look like it's actually sitting off the table rather than on. We don't want it floating in midair. There you go. And when that dries, that'll look like it's actually moving up a bit. If I really wanted to play with this, I'd be putting shadow in where each, see the folds are? I'd be putting shadow into the folds to make it have full depth make this side rise like this. Watch. See? Just add more form to it. You see that? Slightest touch changes everything. So when this one dries, I could do the same and make it bounce off, and the same with this. But what I want you to do is just go and have some fun. Create wet on wet washes, which is you wet the paper, you come in with your paint, put one down, put the next colour paint around it. You can have red and orange leaves, you can have green leaves, you can have anything you want. Just play and practice. Then see, can you create a shadow to make it look like it's lifting off? You could move that shadow back that way. You could have it there, anywhere you want. Have fun. Let me know how you get on. Bye.